Because, you know, I don't watch the news, but some people in the back room told me this is going on. And we started to get into this last night because of the Henry Hyde situation. And today the Republicans are all yelping and crying because they are getting what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I don't understand this because, you know, Ken Starr said he's just after the facts. That's what he kept saying for 7 months. Just the facts. Well, aren't these just the facts? If the people have the right to know about Clinton, why don't they have the right to know about who else is doing this?
There's one thing about the gander, all right, in this case, the Republicans. Not Henry Hyde, Helen Chenoweth, or any of the others that Dan Burton. They are not under currently right now a investigation for criminal activity. I mean, the bottom line here, people keep saying that this is about sex, this is about adultery, this is about adultery, this is about sex. That's nonsense. We could be talking about the number of flies on a horse's ass. All right, it has nothing to do with about sex. It's about what the president has done over a series of months to potentially obstruct justice and to potentially perjure himself and suborn perjury.
If you spend $40 million digging anybody in the Senate, anybody in the Congress, anybody in the administration, they will all have dirt. You spend $40 million, you're going to dig up dirt on anyone. And that's what's been going on. And there was nothing about Whitewater, nothing about Travelgate.
Those reports are coming out. Those reports are coming out very soon on Whitewater, on Filegate, on Travelgate.
Why weren't they in the deposition?
I mean, let me ask you
something. Why weren't they in the deposition?
They weren't in Ken Starr's report at all. Ken Starr's report was only about Monica Lewinsky and the 10 times she the president.
No, it was.
That was the whole report.
No, that was the easy reading part of the piece.
No, I read the whole thing.
That was the easy reading part of the piece. But the fact of the matter is,
I read the whole thing. What do you mean?
It was about the relationship that Bill Clinton had with Vernon Jordan and the things that he did to obstruct justice and an investigation in a civil trial around the relationship. It was about what he did in using Betty Currie to get back gifts that he had given to Monica Lewinsky after he perjured himself.
Just admit it. You hate sex.
No, come on. I hate his type of sex. He has pretty bad type of sex, but I don't
have bad sex. It's sad.
It's really sad,
isn't it sad? Did you read about how he was having sex?
It's just terrible.
I didn't read all of them, but the cigar thing, hasn't everyone done that?
It's a quickie. He's having a quickie. Why is it so weird? I know in your pre-show report you said, oh, it's really sad and there's no love and all this kind of stuff. That's what they have bidets for in Europe, you know? Go at it fast, you don't have time for a shower. He's doing a quickie. Now, whether or not he's married...
Wait, what do you mean that's what they have bidets for? A bidet is a cleansing for...
That's right, because you don't have time to take a shower and cleanse the whole deal and take a half an hour, so you get a quickie in the afternoon, clean yourself up, and go back to work. It's a quickie.
I thought they were very slow, small swinging toilets, but I didn't know. And I live in Europe.
I used to put fruit in it, but okay.
The road, and a guy tried to take a dump in one once in Europe because he didn't know what it was.
They swing out from under the sink. But the point is, on President Clinton, if he's being the most powerful man in the world and he's making phone calls to people and having at the same time, surely that is the American dream. Isn't that what everyone's trying to do?
What it shows, what that type of behavior shows...
He was eating pizza, the report said, he was eating pizza, talking on the phone to a congressman, and receiving oral sex. You got to give the man something for talent.
Now, what it shows, what that action shows, what enlisting his wife, his cabinet, his lawyers, people who work for him on an orchestrated campaign to deceive the American people, to perjure, to lie to the American people, to obstruct an ongoing investigation, shows the contempt that Bill Clinton...
Wait a second. You're groaning, so I want to hear what's beneath that groan.
I just think it's horrible, this invasion of privacy, and where does it stop? I mean, just because someone's famous or someone's the president, what two people do behind closed doors when they're consenting is none of my business. And I don't think someone should be taken down for that.
If it's part of a criminal investigation, Leah, but Leah, if it is part... but it wasn't a right-wing conspiracy. Hold on. It wasn't a right-wing conspiracy that gave Ken Starr the extension of the independent counsel law to investigate the matter with Monica Lewinsky. It was a pattern of obstruction of justice. Bill Clinton using operatives like Bernard Jordan, and he was a conciliary in the
I got to take a commercial, and then we'll dig some more.
Planning to be in the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 323-575-4321.
All right. If you read this report, which is what we're talking about, Monica Lewinsky doesn't come off that well either. She comes off as someone who basically blackmails the President of the United States. And Katie Rolfe wrote a great article the other day, and she said there should be a term connoting the opposite of sexual harassment. When a person of less power uses her sexual attractiveness or a personal relationship with a person of greater power to get ahead. No pun intended. Now, I think Monica Lewinsky is the one who should apologize to America. She's the homewrecker. She blackmailed the president. And and if anybody really owes an apology, I think it's her.
I think it'd be fabulous entertainment. I'm a little offended because I'm being outdone. I mean, this book is full of sleaze. I'm being outdone. I never thought I'd be outdone by the President of the United States. So
right, you're a rock star. You would figure you'd have the field to yourself, and here you are.
I've been doing press for this, and people are going, yeah, but you didn't have any cigar stuff going on. You didn't have, you know, and I'm, hey,
right.
Dude.
Yeah, I think it takes two to tango. I think both are equally to blame. But what do? They had a relationship which is not illegal. Not illegal at any point. It isn't illegal in America, is it, sex?
No, and by her testimony, she enticed him. I mean, you read the first encounter. Was not. She showed him her thong. She showed him her ass like a baboon. And what? That's what it is. It's like Wild Kingdom. Here's my ass. And he was like, okay, you know, I mean, because
Monica Lewinsky has become almost a phenom. You know, she's kind of bigger now than she really is. I mean, they did a biography story on her earlier this week. Of course, she did the spread in Vanity Fair. But the fact of the matter is, Monica Lewinsky should be compared to a 22 or 23-year-old college student that is having a relationship with the university president, or a intern or a low-level employee in a major corporation having a relationship with the chairman of the board. And we know that the disparity of well, maybe so, graduate school.
Right.
but the disparity, nevertheless, the disparity of power between those two individuals, and the disparity between the recklessness of Bill Clinton's act as President of the United States. It's not even in the same book with Monica Lewinsky did.
The proof is that she had the power as much as he did, because she threatened him. She blackmailed him, and who's winning now? Who has the power?
The person who has the power who is the President of the United States that commands the United States government. And the recklessness and irresponsibility here, and what the American people are owed an apology for, is the gross recklessness on the part of Bill Clinton, who is the President of the United States.
Yeah. I would agree that it was reckless, and I think he should apologize. I think he is.
He's apologized every day for 2 weeks.
He's a fake phony fraud.
You know what? You want an apology, and then when he does it, you say he's a fake phony fraud. How do you win?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you precisely
He apologized in Ireland. He apologized in Russia. He apologized in Florida. He apologized in a box. He apologized for the fox.
That's because he... That's because he called Dick Morris, okay, and he called his posters and his spin masters, and they said that you are starting to lose, that your phony, half-stepping, phony apology on August 17th, which was never really an apology, he never said, I'm sorry, August 17th, is hurting you, and that's why he came out. And nevertheless, in a cabinet room meeting with Donna Shalala, when Donna Shalala called him on the table, this is during his apologia, called him on the table for embarrassing her and embarrassing the presidency, he lashed back at her and said, well, if they had these standards during Nixon and Kennedy, then Nixon would have been elected president. This is a guy who's not really contrite. This isn't a guy who's serious about making an apology.
Who's running our country? Right. Who's taking care of
I care who's running our country.
No, what are they doing? What are those people doing? All they're doing is arguing about the president. Are they taking care of the 1 in 5 children that are living in poverty? Are they taking care of
health care?
Healthcare? Are they taking care of anything? No. They're arguing about
neither is Bill Clinton because he's spending too much time with cigars and on telephones.
And as we know, other people are having illegitimate kids and stuff in the Republican Party. Everyone on Capitol Hill is doing it. Everyone is doing it. Don't be so naive.
Okay, you can tell them, but I have to take a commercial right now. All right, you mentioned other presidents in the past and how they handled it. Let me quote what Monica Lewinsky said by her own words when she, after the affair had petered out. She said, and she was blackmailing the president. She said, I don't want to have to work for this position, the job he was hoping that she would get him. I just want it to be given to me, like everything else in her entitled little life. And, you know, when Kennedy broke off with Marilyn Monroe, well, I mean, they killed her. And, you know, Clinton at least had the courtesy not to kill her.
You win that point.
Isn't that worth something?
I want to get back to what Leah...
It's time to get that together, though. I mean, you guys are arguing. You can be either self-righteous about it or you can view it as entertainment. But here's another thing. Perjury. The guy got up and said, didn't do it. What are they going to do? What's he going to do about perjury? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's suborning perjury.
I said this before. You grade murder. You have murder 1 and murder 2. The different levels of murder. There's different levels of perjury. One saying there's no Holocaust when 10 million people die. The other saying where you had sex and you didn't have sex.
Different levels. So naive. Is he that right now the Clinton administration is investigating the Clinton administration as we speak? The FBI is pushing the Justice Department for an indictment against Henry Cisneros. You know what for? For lying about an affair he had with a mistress. Right now, the Clinton Justice Department has put under indictment...
Every president lies. Every politician lies.
What's your point?
What you lie about?
The issue is not...
I thought that, too.
If I can tell you the point is not an issue of adultery or about sex in the case of Cisneros. Or in the case of Clinton and Lewinsky, it's a question of obstruction of justice or possible perjury or obstruction of perjury.
Whose justice is being obstructed? Tell me that. Who was hurt by this before they...
I'll tell you, Janet Reno's. Because Janet Reno is the one. Janet Reno is the one who said to Ken Starr that you can expand your investigation into Monica Lewinsky and the relationship between Bill... Am I lying? Am I wrong?
My point is that the country...
I would have had the cojones...
I say a point here? Someone's talking about I want to say a point as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got to listen to Eddie.
I will compete with your bass vocal tones. Yes, I think the country is looking at what's fair, logical, whereas up on Capitol Hill, it's saying, what can we do with the law to get him out? Get him, you know, it's that. And so the country is saying this was an affair, and if you push and say, did you have an affair? No. Okay, you're lying. That's perjury. But that's in fact lying. Everyone lies. Everyone does perjury. If you say, ask anyone in this thing, in the entire country, in the entire world, if they've never ever lied, no one can say that.
George Bush stood up before the American people and said, Clarence Thomas is the most qualified man to be on the Supreme Court. Now, that's a huge lie that affects my life.
And my point
that affects my life.
That's a political cheap shot on your part.
That's a what?
That's a political cheap shot on your part.
No, that's the truth.
And what I'm not going to get back into
my point is to grade the lying. Some lies about murder or cover up.
There's a difference between
high crimes and misdemeanors, and one is sex. You know, it's high crimes and misdemeanors, or is it sex and lying about sex?
Chronology here. Bill Clinton, during a civil suit, lies under oath.
Because they set a perjury trap for him.
I'm already saying that.
He then orchestrates over several months, and then keep in mind, this is just about sex.
It is.
And then for several months he orchestrates a campaign where he enlists his cabinet, his lawyers, even his wife to dishonor all themselves and lie on his behalf.
You know
because
what?
it's just about sex.
It
right?
is just about
because
very
he
aggressive
was scared
It's really about
for
getting
his
Bill
legal-
Clinton.
He was scared for his legal life. He was hiding something. He was
Of course he is. He's an adulterer. Adulterers hide. It's their nature.
Bill, like I said before.
What do you think adulterers do?
Like I said before.
It's just that when you're the president and you're caught with adultery, then you have to enlist the cabinet. When you're just a regular schmo and you're caught with adultery, you might ask your friend,
I
hey,
disagree.
tell my wife I was with
If Bill
you the
Clinton
other
was a
night.
priest,
That's all it is.
If Bill Clinton was a
tell
priest,
my wife I was bowling
Bill
with you
Clinton-
on a presidential level.
Do you truly think...
That's all it is.
Hold on. Let me respond. Let me respond. Do you truly think that people have an illusion in their mind, and certainly Hillary Clinton has an illusion in her mind that her husband does not commit adultery? We're not talking about a priest here. No, Bill Clinton did not go through all type of machinations because he was trying to hide adultery from his wife, who didn't know about Bill Clinton being an adulterer.
Okay,
he was trying to hide it from the American people and obstruct Ken Starr's investigation because he was trying
digging
to
and digging and
Ken Starr from coming up with concrete evidence for perjury. And for
let me say something.
of perjury.
If it was so easy to admit this thing in politics, why didn't all those Republicans who've had the affairs, had the babies, or the whatever, why didn't they admit it? Only when Bush.
As soon as they were busted.
And what did Bill Clinton
All right,
do when
I'm
he
going to
was
get busted if I don't take a commercial.
Join us tomorrow when our guests will be Sharon Lawrence, Harry Shearer, Mary Cucurfello, and Doug McIntyre.
All right, we only have a little time. Let me ask the ladies. Did you ever have a crush on a guy so bad, okay, she was 22, that you let him treat you like this? I mean, over 16 months, 10 encounters, 10 minutes at a time.
It's not necessarily bad. I know why he lied, though.
Why?
Obvious. Because he knew that the country's going to spend the next 4,000 years talking about this